Through the years, there have been many atomic models. To understand the modern atomic model, we must understand the old atomic model. Democritus was the first one to conceive of the idea of an atom. Instead of having an atomic model, Democritus proposed a thought experiment. He proposed that if you break a rock, the two pieces that the rock were broken into are still going to be a rock. He said that there was going to be a point where the rock could not be broken up anymore. He called this point, or like the state that it cannot be broken up into, the atom. Way more than 1,000 years later, we have Dalton's atomic model. Dalton's atomic model proposed a solid sphere, a quote-unquote bowling ball. This bowling ball was indivisible. It cannot be divided into any more parts. This was soon the predecessor to J.J. Thompson's plum pudding model. J.J. Thompson's atomic model was called the plum pudding model. It was named this because of how it looked. The plum pudding model looks like a quote-unquote plum pudding, a common English dessert. It was structured with electrons in a positively charged quote-unquote soup. The positively charged soup would balance out the negatively charged electrons, thus creating a neutral atom. Moving on to the next atomic model was Rutherford's model. In Rutherford's model, we have electrons that orbit around the nucleus, a conglomerate of neutrons and protons. These electrons follow an orbit path. The positively charged protons balance the negatively charged electrons out, creating a neutral atom. Beau Ayers' model elaborates on the idea of electron orbitals and gives electron orbitals quote-unquote power levels. These levels of electron orbitals have varying electron capacities. And as the name suggests, there are different power levels within these electrons, or really how strong each electron shell is. The inner shell is the strongest and holds 2 electrons. The shells grow less strong as the farther you go, and the capacity of electrons increases. Other than that, the Beau Ayers and the Rutherford model aren't very much different. Both contain a conglomerate of protons and neutrons at the center, called the nucleus. And the protons balance out the negatively charged electrons because the protons are positively charged. The last model we will be talking about is the Schrodinger model. This model is the modern model. Schrodinger's model created an electron cloud that electrons will be in 90% of the time. The electron cloud model was created because Beau Ayers' models of electrons were positioned was too simplistic. According to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, you cannot record an electron's velocity and position at the same time. So in reality, this means that Beau Ayers' model of showing electrons' movements and positions is far too simplistic because we never know the position of these electrons without actually affecting it. So all in all, we use the electron cloud model as the modern model because the position of an electron is mostly uncertain. So the electron cloud model provides a good idea of where the electrons are most of the time. Thanks for watching. A final question I would like to ask is, how have the atomic models changed over time? And how have they developed? And in what kinds of ways?